My name is Ferdinand, and I'm your host for this episode of the Third Dragon of Creativity, Part 2. Enjoy. After 2 days of following a road the texture of a lizard's back, foraging among prickly bushes that left my hands cut and bleeding for a mere mouthful of berries, and drinking dew from fading long grass when I could not find a clear stream, I come to the edge of an uproarious village. The music, the dancing, the smell of roast pork, and the waving banners, I watch in a shock as I step cautiously closer. A village festival here in the land of the dragons? Whatever could they be celebrating? This is an illusion, I think. I've seen nothing but magic parading as reality since the day I left my own village with you. How cruel that after 2 days of loneliness and deprivation, to have my heart's desire for company play out before me when I know that as I grow closer, it will simply turn to air. As I am thinking this, 3 men turn and see me. They seem as confused as their tangled beards. I am too tired to describe them well, for they are all dressed the same in their villagers' clothes, but one of them is tall, the other is bald, and the other is heavier than the others. There is no need to give more details. It is not as though they are characters in a story. "Old friend," shouts the tallest one. "I see a new friend. Let's fetch him." I shrink back and am turning to flee when the bald one shouts, "Yes, by the fates, it is another rider. Behold his bewilderment. He seems tired and hungry and is covered with dust as the road itself. We must bring him to the festivities to celebrate with us." "Rider," says the last and heaviest of the 3 as I turn back to him in hesitant amazement. "Welcome, lad. Today is a day of great feast and celebration. Today this is a great and wonderful day, for the dragon of separation is vanquished at long last. All hail the conqueror of dragons. All hail Ferdinand." "Ferdinand?" I ask. I've never heard of this man named Ferdinand. Truly, I did not know that there was such a name. "Yes, Ferdinand," says the rotund one. "Ferdinand has destroyed the fearsome beast with his magic sword. Because of this magnificent achievement, he will now become the world's greatest rider. It was a fierce battle, for the dragon of separation fought with claws and flaming breath. It was a terrible struggle, with the valiant Ferdinand slashing and thrusting with his mighty sword. The roaring of the dragon and Ferdinand's mighty battle cry could be heard to the ends of the earth." I marvel for a moment that I did not hear such terrifying battle cries, but then I say, Ferdinand must be a man smiled upon by the fates themselves. Suddenly, I catch sight of tiny black wings flapping in the cloud-laced sky behind the village and its celebrants. Against the hard blue sky, they look like birds in flight. There are 2, and I panic. The air is wavy with heat, and they seem to shiver with portent. "No, you are too quick with your judgments," I exclaim, pointing at the sky. "The dragon is not dead, and he has come back with yet another dragon." My skin is covered with dust and sweat. My throat is dry and split as brown leaves, and my face feels like a sun-baked stone. But as I look at the distant wings, I feel my chest coat with sweat. My legs are suddenly feeble, and I am uncertain whether to flee or stay still. If I run away, perhaps the approaching dragon will notice me. "What say you?" asks the tall one. "The dragon of separation truly is dead. Ferdinand has said it is so, and for proof he took from it a claw to display in our village. I shoot my finger out again, with one finger extended as though it was an arrow. 'There,' I shout, 'behind you in the sky.' The tall one looks back over his shoulder, then back again at me. 'Not dragons, young lad,' he says, and then smiles indulgently. 'Those are blessed vultures, come to eat the dragon's flesh. We are all free again. All hail to Ferdinand and his magic sword.' Hooray, they yell once, twice, and thrice again. I am too embarrassed to shout hooray with them. Truly, my only point of comfort is that the great Ferdinand did not hear me confuse vultures with dragons. "Ferdinand is Excalibur, the great and legendary magic sword?" I ask, trying to appear more weirdly and knowing that I am. The other 3 stare at each other, then burst into laughter. Behind them, young maids dance in flowered circles, while another plays the flute. I see villagers clapping and hear them singing. What a glorious day this is for them. A hero has slain the dragon. What legends will be told of this moment and passed down through generations? And will I be one of those storytellers first passing down the tale? I think of you for a moment, then quickly push the thought aside. My bald friend leads towards me and says, Excalibur. Ferdinand brings a mightier sword than Excalibur. He carries with him the mightiest sword of all, with a blade that can slice through and destroy even the dragon of separation. And what is the name of this magical sword that is greater than even Excalibur? How came he by it? I'm eager to learn anything that I can. Behind us, I hear a village crier interrupt the music and dancing and then shout out, Come one and all, the Dragon Slayer himself will regale us with the story of his victory. Come to the platform and cheer for him. Applaud him. He has set us all free to be great storytellers. What is this? I asked my 3 new acquaintances. Are the men and women of this village all storytellers? The tall one shakes his head in amusement. Young lad, are you blind? We are all storytellers like yourself, gathered to celebrate our hero who has killed this one dragon. Perhaps with the luck of heaven behind him, he will kill them all. Come, let us go sit at his feet and listen. He is as powerful a teacher as he is a slayer of dragons. They begin to walk away, but I shout, I have it. I know the name of his sword. Is it Dragon Slayer? Once again, as a mocking wind tickles the grass, I hear them laugh. What? I demand, running after them. Is that not the name of the enchanted sword that Ferdinand used to defeat this riding dragon? If not, then tell me its name, so that I might not lose my mind and worry. All 3 men stop and turn patiently to stare at me, as though they are really one person. But it is the tall man who tells me, Ferdinand's enchanted sword is indeed magical, lad, but perhaps you are not yet ready to know its name. And why not, I demand. Why should you know it, and not I? Laughing at my discomfort, they say, Come join the festivities, imbibe our ale, dance with our women, and sit at the feet of he who slays riding dragons. There, if you are ready, you may learn the name of the enchanted sword and much more from the great hero who wields it. By this time, I'm tired and hungry, and eager to eat and drink and be merry. The sky is still cloudless, the ground is dry. I'm hungry and thirsty for food and drink and knowledge and teaching. And besides, I have never before met a great hero, much less a dragon slayer with the magical sword that will allow him to destroy a riding dragon. And because of this, will become the greatest storyteller ever. I would join you, I say. Yes, I would join you. There is no better choice for me. My new friends offer me water and a biscuit as we walk together. Although it may not seem like a great deal to you to have some water, some food, and some friends to walk with, it is indeed better than being left behind, lost, alone, and hungry. As we approach the village, little girls smile shyly at us, and a juggler walks by without a word, as though the 6 copper rings he keeps revolving in front of him with his so busy hands are more interesting than the 4 of us. I see beautiful women and sturdy men crowding round a lone figure in the middle of a gathering circle of admirers. The smell of bread and cooked meat fills the air. I have found a place to rest and meet the great hero. Perhaps I must reconsider my quest to challenge the riding dragons. This village is a much safer haven than space in front of a dragon, and besides, I will get to learn from a truly great hero. And I wish, I say to the bald one, as the thought comes to me, to meet the great Ferdinand, slayer of riding dragons with his mighty sword. Will you not introduce me? No sooner have I uttered the words than right before me, moving through the midst of the adoring crowd, I see the man himself, tall and powerfully built, wearing fine clothes with a hint of royalty about him, and carrying a sword that shines bright with heaven's light. I marvel at its beauty and the confident stride of the yellow-haired man who carries it with such assurance. He has the true bearing of a victorious knight. This is the way I would hope to appear to you if I ever find you again. Hurry, before he begins, urges the bald man, if you wish to learn how he wields his mighty sword to destroy the riding dragons. We must draw closer. I quicken my pace, if only I could get close enough to the great Ferdinand himself, to learn how he took possession of his magical weapon. But he disappears behind what looks to be a family of the tallest riders anywhere to be found on this earth. The 4 of us push forward to catch a glimpse. The tallest of my new friends sends. His lady is with him. She is the most beautiful lass in the land. Do they not make a royal couple? I don't know, I say. The family in front of us is too tall. Well, I can see them, he says, and I can tell you that both he and she are so lucky to be with each other. For a brief moment, I again think of you, but push the remembrance aside. You left me behind, and though I look for you, I will not pursue you. It is sometimes easier to lie to myself than to tell stories. I wonder if this is so for all writers. We finally move past the family of giants, and I look about. In the circle's midst of all the storytellers gathered, amidst this riotous moment in a village festooned with colorful banners and children tussling in between their parents' legs, there stands in the center of the circle a small platform of roughly hewn planks. I see the face of Ferdinand again, moving up the steps with a broad smile on his face. With one hand he waves to his admirers, and he offers an assist to his lady. A young maid plays the flute to honor their ascent. Prepare to learn about writing, the bald man says close to my ear, so that I might hear him over the excited crowd. And since you have come this far, I will now tell you that Ferdinand's enchanted sword is named Commerce. What kind of a name is that for a dragon slayer's sword, I ask. Ah, puts in my rotund friend. You forget that these are writing dragons. What better name for the sword that slays them all? I'm about to discuss this further with him when he nudges me with his elbow and says, "Look, they're on the stage. It is Ferdinand himself and his most lovely lady. Is this not a wonderful day?" When I look toward the stage, I see the handsome Ferdinand, the hero of the hour and soon to be the greatest storyteller in the land. It is a grand festive event. Then, when Ferdinand steps to the side, I see something even more important to me. I see that it is you standing beside him on the stage. Now that's all for today's episode. Be sure to turn in next week for another episode of the Dragons of Creative Writing. Until then, keep writing.